You're watching Breaking News on 4029.
We are tracking breaking news right now. Major changes at the University of Arkansas Athletics Department. Jeff Long, the Director of Athletics, fired today by Chancellor Joseph Steinmetz.
And an interim AD announced. Julie Cromer-Peoples, we know, will take over the role while the Chancellor and a search committee look for a permanent replacement. Thanks for joining us. I'm Paige Proyce.
And I'm Craig Hannon. The news today shocking Hog fans. 4029 Sports Director Mitch Roberts leads our team coverage tonight. He's live on campus. Mitch?
Well, good evening, everyone. We have just obtained a letter from Joseph Steinmetz, the Chancellor of the University of Arkansas system, a letter that was sent to Jeff Long to terminate him, dated today. Many things in that letter, but in part, he said he felt like the firing was, quote, in the best interest of the athletics program and the university. Surprising to some, maybe not here in Arkansas, but around the country, Jeff Long is respected on the national scene, a former chair of the College Football Playoff Committee. Also has received wide acclaim for how he handled the Bobby Petrino situation several years ago before Bielema was hired. But it appears his support at home has eroded in the last year with the leadership at the university. According to U of A Chancellor Joseph Steinmetz, Jeff had lost support of many of our fans, alumni, key supporters, and membership from the university leadership. Well, Julie Cromer-Peoples, as Paige had just mentioned, is now the interim athletic director, and she will serve while a national search is done to find a new athletic director. That search will be conducted by Chancellor Steinmetz and University President Donald Bobbitt with input from the Board of Trustees. Now, earlier this afternoon, Arkansas football coach Brett Bielema was asked during his SEC weekly teleconference what he thought about the termination of the man who hired him here at Arkansas.
Jeff, from day one to where we are today, has been awesome. For not for me personally, the head coach. He of course has been that, but for our student athletes, everything he stands for, everything he tries to give them, off the field, on the field, all the services we provided, all the support that we've given. It's been awesome to witness, and hopefully continue forward.
Then late this afternoon, right behind me in Bud Walton Arena, Hogs basketball coach Mike Anderson was asked about the Jeff Long firing at the beginning of his weekly press conference. He said he came to work this morning and was in shock, just about like everybody else here on campus.
He's been an unbelievable leader, and it's kind of, I guess it's kind of hard for me to wrap my mind around it, things that have transpired, today. And so forgive me on that there. So if you ask me what are your thoughts, I hadn't had a chance to wrap my mind around it. So, but again, Jeff, he's been a great leader here. I think he's done some tremendous things.
Mike Anderson said he has already spoken with Julia Cromer-Peoples, and she said to tell him just to keep working hard, which of course he will. As for Bielema, he was already on thin ice. Jeff Long may have been about the only guy over here keeping him afloat. No word on what this means for Coach Bielema, but in my professional opinion, it can't be good. As we look ahead to who the new athletic director might be, a couple of names floating around. Tommy Tuberville, of course, a former Auburn and Cincinnati coach with Arkansas ties. How about Houston Nutt? That's right, as nutty as that sounds, there's been a few people say that maybe he'd be interested. Also, former Hog, a member of the 1965 championship team, Ken Hatfield, who lives locally, and he's a guy that is universally respected. I don't think anyone could say anything bad about Ken Hatfield should he be the man that gets the job. We'll have much more coming up at 6 o'clock and tonight at 9 and 10. Reporting from the University of Arkansas, Mitch Roberts, 4029 News.
Yeah, we'll have to watch and see what happens. Mitch, thank you. Well, Long may have lost his job, but we do know his contract still provides him some guarantees. University Chancellor Joseph Steinmetz said in today's announcement that the university will honor the provisions of Long's contract, which currently runs through June 30th, 2022. The latest contract amendment we got from the university listed an annual salary of $750,000. And we also know Long will continue to be a member of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee. Executive Director Bill Hancock said the management committee voted unanimously today to ask Long to remain on the committee, and Long did accept.
Hog fans split on today's decision to fire Jeff Long. 4029's Christopher Redfern has been in Fayetteville all day. He has more on fan reaction.
Well, one thing's for sure, Jeff Long has definitely made his mark. It seems everyone from local businesses to fair weather fans knows his name and has an opinion on his firing. Some say they saw this day coming.
It hasn't really gone the direction I think he envisioned it, but he had to stand beside who he picked. And I think it's about time that we move on to somebody new.
Some say they're surprised by the timing.
I'm surprised that it happened right now. I thought it was going to happen eventually, but I don't think they do it during the season. So, yeah, I just think Bielema's next.
But in a town where the football stadium can hold almost the entire city's population, the success of the Razorbacks impacts everything.
So usually the Friday before the game is a huge day for us. The last 2 games, we've really been impacted by what we think is the losing streak. Because we just haven't even seen those people coming into town.
Everyone's just like, oh, we've got the Hogs this weekend, like it's a loss. And for us, like we're like, oh, like probably gonna lose again. Yeah. So I kind of don't want to have that mentality. It's not, I don't feel good about it.
And just hours after the announcement, Hog fans are already looking to the future.
I mean, I think we just need to bring someone in who's like an Arkansas guy that like knows, understands like what Arkansas is about, and bring us to the top.
With a disappointing season nearly over, optimistic fans are hoping a chance at the top will give a boost to the players on the field next year. And it may seem like a long way to the top, but I'll tell you, it is possible. My freshman year here at the University of Arkansas, we went 11-2 and finished number 5 in the country. So there is hope. Live in Fayetteville at the University of Arkansas, Christopher Redfern, 4029 News.
There is hope, that's for sure. Long helped push the expansion of Razorback Stadium. Crews have been working throughout the year on the northern end zone. The estimated $160 million project is adding about 3,000 seats to the stadium, along with some luxury boxes.
Well, this football season, we've seen more and more empty seats inside Razorback Stadium. The homecoming game where the Hogs nearly saw an upset, the stadium saw more than 61,000 fans. Now, compare that to earlier last year. Nearly 74,000 fans were in attendance when the Hogs won against Ole Miss. And not sure fans agree that it's the best move. Tim Lane commented on Facebook, quote, fired the wrong guy. Long has done nothing wrong. Bielema hasn't worked out, but who would have guessed that when we hired him? And Melissa Wells of Fiorello says, quote, I don't know if this was the right decision, but I guess they'll find out. And we also heard from Michael Golden, who says today's firing was like, quote, amputating a leg for a stubbed toe. We want to hear more about your thoughts on the big change in leadership, so comment on our Facebook post. You can also visit Craig's page, my page. Is this the right move? What do you think is next? Shoot us a video, upload that to You Local, share your thoughts.
Definitely. Now turning to our weather, clouds have cleared. The sun finally came out today, huh? 4029 Chief Meteorologist Darby Bybee has more on our official Get Ready forecast.
Yeah, finally saw a little bit of sun after those morning storms that did drop a little bit of rain, some needed rain. We definitely did need it, and that's all moved off to the south and east. The clearing skies for us this evening, especially in northwest Arkansas. We're starting to see a little bit of that in the River Valley. There's still some low clouds and fog behind that cold front. As we go throughout the night tonight, I do think we'll have more of that fog in the River Valley. Low visibility tomorrow morning, temperatures in the 40s, so cool too. In northwest Arkansas, mostly clear skies with patchy fog. The big story, it's going to be chilly. Temperatures will be dropping to low to mid 30s by tomorrow morning. Now, as we go into tomorrow afternoon, we're looking at beautiful weather for the most part. We'll see those clouds starting to come back throughout the day, especially late in the day, but otherwise highs around 60 to low 60s. So not a bad day on Thursday. Winds really pick up on Friday out ahead of our next cold front for the weekend. We'll tell you more about that coming up.
Well, new tonight, a local deputy speaking out for the first time after he was stabbed while trying to make an arrest. The confrontation ended with the suspect being shot to death. The deputy thankfully got to go home to his family. He talked to 4029's Brett Rains.
Sequoia County Deputy Christian Good has worked in law enforcement a little more than 5 years. During that time, he's never had to use deadly force, and he's never been hurt in the line of duty, until now.
We don't come to work thinking that something like this is going to happen or wanting to do something like this. This is not something I've ever wanted to do. But I feel that this was the only thing that I could do.
See you back there? Yeah.
October 20th, Deputy Christian Good, along with Muldrow Police, searched this home for Philip Trammell. He had a felony warrant for his arrest. They found him hiding under a pile of clothes. The exchange was all captured on police body camera video.
Show me your hands. Show me your hand. Back up. Back up. Shoot me.
Trammell pulls out a knife and lunges at the deputy.
The only thing I could think of is that I was way too close in the situation, and I had no retreat.
The Muldrow officer fired his stun gun, but it had no effect. Deputy Good shot Trammell several times. He died from his injuries. Good was wearing a bulletproof vest, but he was stabbed in the shoulder and in the abdomen, both unprotected areas.
SO shots fired! SO shots fired!
There's a lot that goes on in your mind. You know, first is in this situation was, you know, I may not go home to my wife and my kids.
Once outside the home, he was rushed to the hospital. That's when he talked to his wife on the phone.
Try to tell her, you know, it's going to be okay. I'm going to the hospital. And I didn't know it was going to be okay. I'm just trying to, you know, to calm my wife.
Doctors told Good the knife missed his lungs by a mere millimeter.
I was very fortunate.
After reviewing the case and this body cam video, the district attorney determined that Good was justified for using deadly force.
I don't think that's something I'll forget for a very, very long time.
And Deputy Good tells me that he is still sore from his injuries, but he's recovering. And the deputy is planning on returning back to work after Thanksgiving. Live in Sallisaw, Brett Rains, 4029 News.
New at 6 on 4029 News. A day after police arrested an Arkansas man in the murder of a 3-month-old baby, we're talking to the grieving family. Our Katie Davidson sat down with them today, and we'll have much more on baby Riley tonight at 6.
Republicans in the Senate planning to repeal a piece of the Affordable Health Care Act along with their tax reform plan. Last week we told you about the plan to add a repeal of the key Obamacare mandate to the tax plan. Democrats are sounding the alarm, though, saying that the move will hike taxes and premiums for middle-class Americans. The plan could save more than $300 billion over the next 10 years, but it is projected to leave an estimated 13 million more Americans uninsured in that same decade.
The Republican tax plan, even before yesterday, would exacerbate income inequality at a time when it's already spiraling out of control, helping the rich get richer, big corporations get bigger, while the middle class is left stuck in neutral.
Last week, Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton said that the repeal of the individual mandate was necessary to replace the Affordable Care Act in 2018.
Now that President Trump is back in the country, he's facing Republicans who are seriously concerned about allegations that Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore sexually assaulted minors. President Trump has largely been silent on the issue, but now that he's returned, many Republicans are hoping he can persuade Moore to withdraw from the race.
Obviously, I've made a few people mad. I'm the only one that can unite Democrats and Republicans, because I seem to be opposed by both.
Now, Fox News' Sean Hannity, who was one of Moore's biggest supporters, is now calling on Moore to come up with a satisfactory explanation for his inconsistencies. Moore has denied all the allegations.
And for more political coverage, always join us on 4029 Sunday mornings for Matter of Fact with Soledad O'Brien. Matter of Fact airs at 10 a.m. right after This Week with George Stephanopoulos. 3 university basketball players speaking out today after returning to the U.S. They were detained for a week in China following what authorities call a shoplifting incident. Next on 4029 News, those players apologize. In our live Get Ready traffic update for you, we're seeing backup lanes here on Interstate 49 in the Lowell area. Look at that. Our traffic maps show you those slowdowns. We're seeing that congestion in southbound lanes in the Lowell area. We're also seeing slowing traffic there heading south between Johnson and Fayetteville.
Live, local, late breaking. You're watching 4029 News at 5 with Paige Boise, Craig Gannon, and Chief Meteorologist Darby Bybee.
Well, tonight we are hearing from the 3 UCLA students who were athletes and held in China for shoplifting while their team was on a trip in Shanghai.
Yeah, the White House says President Trump did help negotiate their release while on his trip to Asia last week, and ABC's Maggie Bruley has the latest.
Speaking for the first time since getting back on U.S. soil, the 3 UCLA players accused of shoplifting in China are finally back home.
Let's start off by saying how embarrassed and ashamed I am. I know that this goes beyond me letting my school down, but I've let the entire country down.
I hope that you can forgive my stupid, childish actions.
I'm going to make myself a better person from here on out.
Freshmen LeAngelo Ball, Cody Riley, and Jalen Hill admit to stealing sunglasses from a Louis Vuitton store. They say they take full responsibility for their crime and are hoping UCLA and the country can forgive them.
I've been looking forward to being a UCLA Bruin since I was young. I'm disappointed in myself that I failed to live up to that.
The three prominent recruits were being held on house arrest at a hotel in China when, during his trip to Asia, President Trump asked China's President Xi Jinping for help getting the three student athletes back home.
To say that our young men are incredibly fortunate to have this kind of support system that's around them is certainly an understatement.
President Trump tweeting the morning after their release, "Do you think the three UCLA basketball players will say thank you, President Trump?" All three of them used their first day back to thank the Chinese police, the U.S. government, and the president.
I'd also like to thank President Trump.
The three players also said they can't wait to get out there and prove themselves on the court.
I want to be known for my respectfulness and my love and passion for the game of basketball.
UCLA says they've suspended the three athletes indefinitely while they review exactly what happened. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
Tonight, investigators in Northern California now saying Tuesday's shooting that left 5 people dead and more than a dozen people injured began in the gunman's own home. Authorities say they found the body of Kevin Neal's wife under the floorboards of their home.
We're confident that he murdered her and literally just put her body in the floor.
Well, prosecutors say that Neal was out on bail on an assault with a deadly weapon charge, accused of stabbing his neighbor back in January. Authorities say Neal had 2 homemade semi-automatic weapons and 2 handguns registered in someone else's name.
Today, Australians are celebrating after a 2-month-long national survey produced results that support legalizing same-sex marriage. At least 61% of Australians voted in favor of marriage equality, which means Parliament will approve the measure and pass legislation by the end of the year. That's according to the country's Prime Minister. Well, here at home, we are happy to see the sun out today. We have Chief Meteorologist Darby Bybee here to tell us how the weekend's going to look. Because, Darby, we are almost there, getting closer.
We're getting close. We are getting close. Beautiful end to the day after kind of a wet, stormy start to our day. Take a look at the radar right here showing you those storms that developed early this morning, moved through northwest Arkansas. Rumbles of thunder, lightning, of course, heavy rain. And I don't know about everybody out there in TV land, but at my house, all the leaves are now on the lawn. All those leaves came down this morning, I guess, as that heavy rain came in. Now, we didn't see as much of that rain in the River Valley. Take a look at our rainfall totals here. You can see across northwest Arkansas, generally between 1/10 and 1/2 inch of rain. Some areas even more than that toward Bentonville, Rogers, Fayetteville, a little less in spots. But in the River Valley, there were areas that didn't get much of any rain across parts of the River Valley. Other areas between Fort Smith and Ozark picked up 1/2 inch of rain. So it was a little bit hit and miss, but some much needed rain for some of us. And temperatures out there right now in the 50s in northwest Arkansas, 60s in the River Valley. Starting to cool off a little bit. Again, we've got clear skies. We're in the 50s for most of us right now in northwest Arkansas. Still looks like low 60s and upper 50s in the River Valley. But as we go throughout the night with clear skies, temperatures should drop off. Winds pretty light. We're talking mid-30s, low 30s in northwest Arkansas, low to mid-40s in the River Valley. And in the River Valley in particular, we could have some very thick fog tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, looks beautiful. High temperatures will be in the 60s. We will have increasing clouds late in the day tomorrow. And then as we go throughout the day on Friday, a ton of cloud cover, also very warm and very windy. Not expecting a lot of rain as we go Thursday night and Friday morning. A slight chance. I think a little better chance for a shower or thunder shower Friday night and a Saturday morning with the cold front moving through. Overall, we'll call it about a 30% chance Friday into Friday night. And look at those temperatures in northwest Arkansas in the 70s. Great for our turkey drive, though very windy on Friday. The weekend, of course, much cooler. And then right now, there's some question marks as to how next week plays out exactly as we lead up to Thanksgiving. But right now, it looks mostly quiet with near seasonable temperatures, maybe a little bit warmer than average. In the River Valley, as you can see, for us, warming up into the 70s on Friday, and then we get the cold front come through, and so yeah, we cool off a little bit for the weekend. Very chilly Sunday morning with near seasonable, but again, a little bit perhaps warmer than average for early next week.
All right, Darby. Well, one teenage hunter bullied online after posting a picture. What made people so upset about this Facebook post?
A Missouri teen faced unexpected backlash online after she says she mistakenly shot and killed an elk while hunting. She and her father were hunting deer, and the teen says she thought the animal was a buck. Her dad called authorities when he identified the animal, since elk are off limits in Missouri during the season. The photo blew up on Facebook with thousands of people reacting. Some comments were pretty cruel.
And I don't take anything like that to heart, because I know who I am, and I know half those people, well, all of those people who say the things that they do have no idea what I'm like.
The teen says she's learned how important it is to triple check her target before shooting. Authorities issued her a warning. They confiscated the elk carcass. They'll have it tested to try and find out where it came from, since the animals are rare in Missouri.
Well, a health alert for you right now. You can find help online if you really want to quit smoking. And a new study says it can help kick the habit for good. The University of Iowa, along with the Truth Initiative, which is a nonprofit anti-tobacco organization, were all behind the study. And they examined the tobacco use of more than 2,600 smokers after following more than 2,600 smokers who joined becomeanx.org. That is a website that's operated by the Truth Initiative. The study found that nearly 21% of smokers who joined and participated for just 1 week quit smoking 3 months later. The results of the study were published in August in the PLOS Journal. And tomorrow is the American Cancer Society Great American Smokeout event to encourage smokers to quit.
Country music star Blake Shelton is People's Sexiest Man Alive of 2017. Shelton says he's shocked, and he joked that they, quote, must be running out of people. He added that his girlfriend, singer Gwen Stefani, convinced him to embrace the honor, and we're glad he's taking it so well. Congrats.
Well, later this month, the American Music Awards will be right here on 4029, and a star from our ABC show Blackish is actually going to be the host. Tracy Ellis Ross says she is looking forward to the big night. Did you know that she's also the daughter of legend Diana Ross? Drake, the Chainsmokers, and Bruno Mars top of the list of this year's nominees for the world's biggest fan-voted awards show. The 2017 American Music Awards airs Sunday, November 19th at 7 p.m. right here on 4029, followed by 4029 News. We'll continue our coverage of the removal of Jeff Long tonight, new at 6. More updates on the leadership changes happening at the University of Arkansas. And also don't forget that this Saturday, the Hogs are taking on Mississippi State in Fayetteville. We have our sports director, Mitch Roberts, going to be there live in front of Stadium Shop. The pregame show kicks off at 10:30 and the game kicks off at 11.
And with all the excitement on the Hill, don't let it distract you from Friday's big event.
Yeah, we're going to be set up at 2 primary locations. One in Rogers at the Walmart Supercenter on Pleasant Crossing Boulevard. That's where I'm going to be in the afternoon.
Yeah, and Craig and I will be in Fort Smith at the Walmart on Rogers Avenue. We'll be collecting your donations starting at 4:30 Friday morning, going all the way through 7 that night.
It'll be fun, Darby. And if you donate a Butterball turkey, folks, Butterball is matching those donations up to 1,000 turkeys. So really, you get a double donation there. All donations benefit the Northwest Arkansas Food Bank and the River Valley Regional Food Bank.
Yeah, we also have other locations on our website. There are 20 of them across the region. You can find those on our website, 4029tv.com. And every year, the overwhelming support from the community is simply amazing. So we hope you'll come out and help us break some more records.
And it's fun, especially when like the kids come and they bring the turkeys.
This is an important event here at 4029.
Yes, it is.
We do it every year, and we get a lot of turkeys. We help a lot of people.
Well, the need is great. I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Thanks for joining us for 4029 News at 5.
We'll see you at 6. Here's David Muir with World News.